India may abandon its no first-use nuclear policy, expert. What do you mean by India's nuclear doctrine, that is no first-use policy? Why India should rethink its nuclear doctrine? Do you think India is already questioning its no first-use policy? Should India advocate nuclear disarmament? GS Paper 2, Effect of Policies and Politics of Developed and Developing Countries on India's Interests, Indian Diaspora. What is the context about? India may abandon its no first-use nuclear policy and launch a preemptive strike against Pakistan if it feared that Islamabad was likely to use the weapons first, a top nuclear expert on South Asia has claimed. Vipin Orang, an expert on South Asian nuclear strategy, said that there is increasing evidence that India will not allow Pakistan to go first. He pointed out, India's preemptive strike may not be conventional strikes, and would also be aimed at Pakistan's missiles launchers for tactical battlefield nuclear warheads. What do you mean by India's nuclear doctrine, that is no first-use policy? India's nuclear doctrine, first officially enunciated on January 4, 2003, asserts that it intends to build and maintain a credible minimum deterrent. While adopting a policy of no first use, the doctrine clarifies that India's nuclear weapons will only be used in retaliation against an attack on Indian territory, or on Indian forces anywhere in which nuclear weapons are used. India also retains the right to use nuclear weapons in the event of attacks on Indian territory, or on Indian forces anywhere in which chemical or biological weapons are used. Why India should rethink its nuclear doctrine? The credibility gap in this strategy of massive retaliation, as pointed out by critics worldwide, is that it would cause carnage in the adversary's towns and cities but leave intact much of his nuclear arsenal. With those surviving nukes, second strike capability, the adversary would then wreak havoc on Indian towns and cities. Viewed in a global context, the entire theology of a nuclear no first use, which was enunciated by the Soviet Union during the Cold War and rejected by the US and its NATO allies, has few adherents today. Do you think India is already questioning its no first-use policy? It can be pointed out that India had been questioned its nuclear doctrine at least 3 times already. First, India's official nuclear doctrine, published in 2003, officially eroded the sanctity of NFU by invoking nuclear use against chemical or biological weapons. Second, in November, former Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar stated, India should not declare whether it has a NFU policy. Third, General Nigel, in his writings, questioned the morality of NFU, asking whether it was possible for India's leadership to accept huge casualties by restraining its hand, well knowing that Pakistan was about to use nuclear weapons. Should India advocate nuclear disarmament? India has played an active role in nuclear disarmament. This gave us a moral stature in the world. We should continue to initiate and promote measures for universal and complete nuclear disarmament. Moreover, there is growing concern about the endless production in Pakistan of dangerous fissile material, which could fall into wrong hands. We should join others to push for a non-discriminatory treaty ending the production of fissile materials for nuclear weapons. We should also reiterate our commitment for de-alerting all nuclear weapons, and separating nuclear warheads from their explosive packages. Interestingly, the US and its NATO allies are likely to be the main opponents of such a move.